How like a winter hath my absence been from thee, the pleasure of the fleeting year. What freezings have I felt, what dark days seen, what old December's bareness everywhere. And yet this time removed was summer's time, the teeming autumn big with rich increase, bearing the wanton burthen of the prime, like widowed wombs after their lord's decrease. Yet this abundant issue seemed to me but hope of orphans and unfathered fruit. For summer and his pleasures wait on thee, and thou away, the very birds are mute. Or if they sing, 'tis with so dull a cheer that leaves look pale, dreading the winter's near.
Do you bite your thumb at us, sir? Yes, I bite my thumb, sir. But do you bite your thumb at us, sir?
Your virginity breeds mites, much like cheese.
No longer from head to toe, then from hip to hip. Oh, she is spherical, like a globe. Oh, I could find out countries in her.
Heaven truly knows thou art false as hell. bottled spider. Villain, I have done thy mother. Her face is not worth sunburning.
Come, come, you froward and unable worms.
He has not so much brain as he has not so much brain as earwax.
Your virginity breeds mites, just like cheese.
Is there no pity sitting in heaven that sees into the depths of my grief? Oh, sweet my mother, cast me not away. Delay this marriage a month, a week. Or if you do not prepare that bridal bed in that dim monument where Tybalt lies. Oh, God. Oh, nurse. How shall this be prevented? My husband is on earth, my faith in heaven. How shall that faith return again unto earth, if not sent to me by my husband from heaven? By leaving earth. Oh, comfort me. Counsel me. Alack that heaven would practice such stratagems upon so soft a subject as myself. What sayest thou? Hast thou no words of joy, some comfort, nurse?
Mine eye hath played the painter and hath stilled thy beauty's form in table of my heart. My body is the frame wherein it is held, and perspective it is the best painter's art. For through the painter must you see his skill, to find where your true image pictured lies, which in my bosom shop is hanging still, that hath his windows glazed with thine eyes. Now see what good turns eyes for eyes have done. Mine eyes have drawn thy shape, and thine for me are windows to my breast, where through the sun delights to peep to gaze in there on thee. Yet eyes this cunning want to grace their art. They draw but what they see, know not the heart.
Thou art a foil, a plague sore, an embossed carbuncle in my corrupted blood. Whoa! Oh, my butt is so wet.
I'll beat thee, but I would infect my hands.
I'll beat thee, but I would infect my hands.
Would thou wert clean enough to spit upon.
You Ascullion, you Rampellion, you Fustularian, I'll tickle your catastrophe.
There's small choice in rotten apples.
I'll beat thee, but I would infect my hands.
You are as a candle, the better burnt out.
Your brain is as dry as the remainder biscuit after voyage.
I'll beat thee, but I would infect my hands.
cast it now. King, Cawdor, Glamis, all. As the weird women promised, and I fear thou playedst most foully for it. Yet it was said that it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If truth come from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Why, by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracle as well, and set me up in hope? Oh, but hush! No more.
You cannot call it love, for at your age, the heyday in the blood is tame, it's humble, and waits upon the judgment.
Thou art a base, proud, shallow, beggarly, three-suited, 100-pound, filthy worsted stockinged knave, a lily-livered, action-taking whoreson, a glass-gazing, super-serviceable, finical rogue, one trunk-inheriting slave, one that's would-be a bawd in way of good service, and art nothing but the composition of a knave, beggar, coward, pander, and the son and heir of a mongrel bitch.
More of your conversation would infect my brain.
I do desire that we were better strangers.
More of your conversation would infect my brain.
Dear Sir, or Madam, thank you for your submission to New World Shakespeare's Sonnets, Insults, and Scenes. We are writing to inform you that your submission was not accepted. Away, you starveling, you elf skin, you dried neat's tongue, bull's pizzle, you stockfish, you tailor's yard, you sheath, you bow case, you vile standing tuck. Sincerely.
When, in disgrace, with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art, that man's scope, and what I most enjoy, contented least. Yet, in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, And then my state to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings.
William Shakespeare was born in 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon in England. His father John was a glove maker. His mother Mary was a farmer's daughter. He had 2 older sisters, 2 younger sisters, and 3 younger brothers. William probably studied Latin, Greek, and history, and left school when he was 14 or 15. 3 years later he married Anne Hathaway. They had a daughter called Susanna and twins named Judith and Hamnet. Sometime before 1590 he left Stratford and went to London, the capital city of England. London's first theatre opened in 1576. Shakespeare worked in London as an actor and then started writing plays too. In 1593, the plague, a terrible disease, killed thousands of people, and theatres were closed. During this time, William started to write poems instead of plays. His short poems are called sonnets. Shakespeare helped build a new theatre called the Globe. It opened in 1599. It was round and had space for 3,000 people. At the Globe, some people stood in front of the stage and others had seats. The audience shouted, clapped, booed and laughed while they watched plays. Musicians created special noises to make the plays more exciting, and they had a cannon to make big bangs. No women acted in Shakespeare's time. Men and boys played all the parts. Shakespeare wrote comedies with happy endings, like A Midsummer Night's Dream. He wrote tragedies, which had sad endings, like Romeo and Juliet. His history plays are about kings and queens, like Henry V. Shakespeare wrote 38 plays, maybe more. He loved language and invented new words and expressions that we still use today. William became rich and famous. He had houses in London and in Stratford. He died when he was 52, on April the 23rd, 1616. His plays and poetry were very popular 400 years ago, and they are still popular today. People all over the world love his work because he wrote wonderful stories about very interesting people.
Let me nod to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters amid alteration finds, nor bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is a never fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, rosy lips and cheeks, within its bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, and no man will know.
Virtue. A fig. 'Tis in ourselves that we are thus or thus, our bodies, our gardens, to the which our wills are gardeners, so that if we plant nettles or sow lettuce, set hyssop and weed up time, supply it with one gender of herbs, or distract it with many, either to have it sterile with idleness or manured with industry, Why, the power and corrigible authority of this lies in our wills. If the balance of our lives had not one scale of reason to poise another of sensuality, the blood and baseness of our natures would conduct us to most preposterous conclusions. But we have reason to cool our raging motions, our carnal stings, our unbidden lusts, whereof I take this that you call love to be a sect or scion.
You are as a candle, the better burnt out.
Threadbare juggler!
I scorn you, scurvy companion.
Thou art the cap of all the fools.
You, minion, are too saucy.
Thou tongue outvenoms all the worms of Nile.
Eater of broken meats.
Thou elvish, marked, abortive, rooting hog.
Thou damned and luxurious mountain goat.
Thou whoresome Zed, thou unnecessary letter.
Poisonous bunchback toad.
You are.
You are.
You are.
You are not worth another word, else I call you knave.
Tonight, NBC News confirms a U.S. intelligence report says 3 researchers at a Wuhan lab fell ill and even went to the hospital right before the coronavirus pandemic began.
We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania Avenue. And we're going to the Capitol. We're going to try and give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country.
Catastrophic situation is playing out in Australia.
The smoke visible from space. A New Year's Eve crisis going into 2020. People are telling us this is the worst they've ever seen. The fires have burned more intensely, more ferociously. They seem to have a mind of their own.
Satellite imagery is showing that Arctic sea ice is at its lowest levels on record.
In northern Siberia, it hit 100.4 degrees.
We are looking right now at the all-time record heat for the month of June.
A catastrophic Category 4 hurricane bearing down in the U.S.
We could be looking at a majority of the surrounding communities flooded with upwards of 9 to 20 feet of water.
The largest wildfires in Colorado history are burning dangerously close, just miles apart.
On the heels of what has been a historic and deadly wildfire season, the winds fanning these flames are expected to last another 24 hours.
Friends' homes are on fire, and you're watching it with your eyes.
And it is officially the busiest hurricane season ever on record.
And the few people we met who chose to stay behind here, they stay behind because they're simply overwhelmed. They're tired of running.
Just no rest in this record year for the hurricane-battered Gulf Coast.
Stronger storms, more storms, heavier rains, our climate is
are driving up the Earth's temperature and fundamentally changing the world around us.
arms are all overthrown. All the strength I have is mine own, which is most faint. It is true I must be here confined by you. Gentle breath of yours, my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. I want spirits to enforce, art to enhance, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself, finds no fault. As you, from crimes, who pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free. Okay, girl, let's go.